to the boys in the booth.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Smuggest Commentary booth this side of the Atlantic. I'm Yintan here with Elise Randolph and we're about to watch Ghost Legion go up against Pen Is Out. Why don't you bring us through, take us over this Pen Is Out comp, Elise?
Alright, Pen Is Out is, they're a faction warfare group. They play a lot with Templars Calcif, who did really well beating Hydra yesterday. They've got a Golem, Navy Scorpion, Basilisk, double Ferox, full Harpy, Jaguar, double Manticore team. And it looks like this Golem, Navy Scorpion, and Basilisk are going to cap transfer one another because they're very, very close.
Yeah, that's a new thing that's just allowed in this Alliance tournament. Potentially looking to run some sort of Tinker Tank. Ghost Legion, on the other hand, have what looks to be a shield version of the drone shotgun composition that we've seen so much of already in this tournament. Running an Eos, Stratios, double Myrmidon, Healer, double Vex Navy issue, and double Vexer, taking advantage there of the two cheapest and, in my opinion, most effective parts of the Gallente lineup.
Yeah, the Pen Is Out team is really good with a few of their ships. The Golem and Navy Scorpion can project pretty far in the arena, but it's going to be really hard for them to catch some of these targets with only two Harpies. I mean, the Harpies are a very durable tackle, but with all these drones coming out from the Ghost Legion side, it is going to hurt.
Yeah, I still can't quite get behind the use of frigates where they are the same cost as a cruiser. Obviously, we've seen the power of cruisers, of mowers and all that, and we can see here, look at that damage being applied to Zimbiku in the Healer.
Yeah, so we're getting some burst damage here coming from the Pen Is Out side. They're trying to break anything that they can really reach. They did send Chase Tay out in a Jaguar to try and grab something, but props to the Ghost Legion side, who they all starburst straight back, and now looks like the Ghost Legion team is trying to pressure Chase Tay in his Jaguar to push him away.
Yeah, you can see the positioning here though. Ghost Legion doing an amazing job of spreading out, and whilst Pen Is Out is able to get on top of one or two ships, it's going to be very difficult for those cruise missiles to apply well to these ships that are just practically running around the edge of the arena. And whilst Fafer, probably one of the most experienced AT pilots in this team, is taking heavy damage and finally off the field, it doesn't seem to be affecting the rest of the team. Although they are going very interesting choices. They're trying to take out bombers first.
Yeah, well, one of the bombers for the Pen Is Out side is down. They are webbed. I think they're webbed by, I can only assume, web drones, though I don't really see the web drones out because they're not moving too far. But Ghost Legion have lost a Vexer Navy issue, and they're starting to feel the burn a little bit. They have a Myrmidon taking damage. Gila by Solidus is taking a lot of damage right now. He is actually taking hunks of damage. If he goes down, that's a massive chunk of damage for Ghost Legion. They won't be able to break through this tanky Golem Navy Scorpion Basilisk core.
Yeah, this is really interesting. It just looks like Ghost Legion hasn't been able to apply their damage properly to that Basilisk. But more importantly, perhaps that Tinker is keeping him alive. It looks like he's running his ASB, and he might be running out of charges, but we're going to have to see, can his cap hold? He's getting fed as much capacitor as possible by this Golem, by this Navy Scorpion, and that's going to let him potentially run it without his charges.
Yep, and the Basilisk is also getting heavy rep bots, heavy shield maintenance bots. They're only Tech 1, that's all that's allowed in the tournament. And the Ghost Legion side are not shooting any of these drones. I'm not seeing any of these drones popping, so this Basilisk tank is going to be able to sustain itself with the cap that it's getting from the Golem, from the Navy Scorpion, and potentially even from these Feroxes. It looks like the Feroxes might be coming a little bit closer here to send even more capacitor. Basilisk shouldn't need to run its ASB cap charges. As I say that, the Basilisk is, okay, now he's just boosting, conserving his cap, doing the smart move, waiting for his shields to get low before using that high cap ASB that's running on no charges. Meanwhile, the Pen Is Out team is just plinking away, doing just a little bit of appreciable damage because Ghost Legion brought no logistic ship, so all of the damage that they can apply is just permanent damage. These guys aren't repping anything up. And Eos down, 2 Helas down, a Vexer Navy issue down. that's it. I'm pretty sure Ghost Legion have no more DPS. They can't break anything. They got one Manticore, and they can't even break another Manticore even if they wanted to.
Yeah, this is such a good call from Pennis Out. They've seen how prevalent these kind of drone no logistics comps have been and brought something that is very, very sustain focused and won't crack under the pressure of even all this DPS.
Yep, so Pen is out. This team, this is probably one of the first times we've seen a team like this in this Alliance tournament. Obviously, we've seen teams like this before. They're very, very tanky, low damage, very low applied damage, but it's a perfect matchup for the Pen is out team when they're going against Ghost Legion. It's really hard when you're trying to just plink away at a logistics ship and it's just repping and repping and repping. But now that with there's no logistics ship, all the little bits of damage that the Pen is out can apply is just going to stay there. So the Eos is down, a Myrmidon going down right now, and that's it. Ghost Legion can't do anything right now.
Yeah, this is an absolute upset, really, in my opinion. Ghost Legion Dot were looking like probably one of the better teams, the better new-coming teams, along with Salt Farmers and the team that shall not be named. So it's crazy to see them go out to a relative outsider of Pen is out.
Yep, I mean, a lot of this comes down to, I don't think Ghost Legion piloted poorly at all. It's just, this is a rock, paper, scissors matchup, and Pen is out took the exact counter that worked for them. You could see through the bans, Ghost Legion tried to ban out Rattlesnake, which is one of the hulls that would have been very effective for the Pen is out side here. They're like, you know what, we'll just take a Navy Scorpion, does a lot of the same stuff, a little bit less damage, a little bit more tank, and we're also going to take a Golem. There's no Bastion allowed on the Golem, obviously, in this Alliance tournament, but the Golem does get a lot of utility high slots and potentially smart bomb some drones. We know it's got at least one energy transfer in there, or exactly one energy transfer in there, and it does get a bonus target painter that helps the Golem and the Navy Scorpion apply that drone or that missile damage.
Yeah, it just gives them so much utility to work. In case Ghost Legion had brought something like a rush team, I think that the Golem is the best choice if you want to do a kind of stat setup like this. I can't help but imagine that we're going to see something similar to this develop as we go later on into the tournament. I know we saw Hydra bring a very, very interesting version of this comp before based around the Atana that was known as the Mobile Tinker.
Yep, absolutely. And we can see some of the pennants outside, they are starting to feel a little bit of cap pressure. They're putting out cargo cans. Actually, never mind, they're just ejecting cans of cargo of Cap 800 so they can go loot the field. I think that's what's going on right now as they're in cleanup mode right here. Ghost Legion will be dropping to the lower bracket as soon as our ships finally explode here. You know, they're not going to be eliminated from the tournament, but they're going to be pretty upset about this rock, paper, scissors matchup that they lost. Out though, you know, they're going to be cruising. They're probably a little bit upset that the Templars, their faction warfare brothers, are getting all the credit for toppling the giants of Hydra. But you know, they're out to prove that they've got the chops to make it in this Alliance tournament. I'm really happy to see that.
Yeah, why do you think there has been so many upsets so far this tournament, at least? Because it seems like just everything is going well for people.
I mean, right in, you know, back in the day in the Alliance tournament, it was really hard to have good teams and like the rest. Now there's so much parity in the Alliance tournament that there's very little separation between the good teams and everyone else. Every team essentially is a good team. And Pen is Out is the goodest of the teams in this matchup. I'm Elise Randolph for this match, along with Yin Tan between Pen is Out and Ghost Legion. We're going to send it back to the studios at Even T.
This program is rated MA. It contains adult themes, coarse language, sexual references, and violence.
Can I ask you kind of a weird question?
Do you want to play some spaceships? 'Ships with me?
Welcome back, guys. That is the another upset of the tournament. Ghost Legion there dropping to Pen Is Out. Pen Is Out, we're going to look at their setup in a little bit more detail now, bringing what we do believe to be the first pseudo Tinker of Alliance Tournament 15. Reload, explain to me, what is a Tinker and what is a pseudo Tinker?
Okay, so we'll go with the full-on Tinker. So a full-on Tinker is basically where you would have a remote repping Tech 3, which get fed capacitor transfers from other ships. So most likely battleships and battle cruisers. So really heavy tank, heavy DPS, etc. And usually you go with undermanned. So you'd usually go a Tengu and then like a triple or even quad battleship core and then 2 command ships. So and they'll keep feeding the capacitor transfers to the Tengu so you can rep himself and you can rep the others. While a pseudo Tinker is more of a you still have a strong core, but you spread out those points for those heavy tackles. So Harpies, Jags, we saw a lot of assault frigates there, cruisers and the like. So you still have that strong core of capacitor transferring battleships, but you usually have a Bassi or an Etana where you can actually rep out to those extended ranges that those logistics can.
Yeah, now we do have a little bit of a replay of that match to look at here. So we put that one up on the screen imminently. So you can see during this sped up match, if you watch the Golem, the Scorpion and the Basilisk of the Pen Is Out team, you will see them sticking really, really close to that Basilisk there. Nate Atoll is basically the lifeblood of this entire team. Now he's going to be fit with a cap-hungry local tank, which is why the Golem and the Navy Scorpion are going to be sitting, feeding him cap. The problem with that is your Golem and your Scorpion, they can't get very far away from that Basilisk simply because the remote capacitor transfer range is so short. Now, Brett, if you're bringing these, for example, this Golem, this Navy Scorpion, you must be very aware that your mobility is going to be neutered by having to stick close to that Basilisk. So how do you maybe fit those? Do you go for long range, or do you hope that you can move the entire comp around slowly?
Well, it's the 50-50. Of course, you can go with, in those Golems and Navy Scorpions, stuff like cruise, but you can only really do that if you have a lot of support with you, stuff that can web and pin stuff down so you can apply. If you go for stuff like rapid heavies, or, well, God forbid, torps on a battleship, you don't get that much range, and you kind of have to just move as a team, maybe even orbiting the Basilisk and letting the Basilisk move forward first.
Yeah, right. We did actually see a Tinker brought in the feeder rounds, which was against Blades of Grass. Very unlucky Tinker setup as they warped their entire Tinker in at 0 on top of a hull-tanked Gallente Blaster Rush with dual Vindicators. And I still think that is the shortest match this year. It was over so fast. The hopes and dreams there of that Tinker dying in just 1 minute and 34 seconds, I am told. I'm also told by our stats guys upstairs that we have, and I quote here, a meme graph ready. Okay. So I'm not sure what that entails, but let's throw it up and have a look. So Tony has glasses. So we can see here that I guess that means 50% of the time they're on the left, but that is strange. It's slightly more on the right, and that adds up to 110%. So perhaps Alexei needs to be fired, because I'm pretty sure you can't have 110% of anything.
No, I think it's angle of attack. So
Oh,
you've got the 50
right.
degrees on angle of attack, and then his right is obviously slightly more vertical.
But I think you may be right there. This could be what we're looking at. Now, I mean, Brett, are you a left or a right man?
I'm definitely right-handed, so I'd say I'm a right man.
Excellent, and I think Suetonia clearly here leaning to the right, a strong decision, and we all support it wholeheartedly here in this studio. So, let's talk a little bit about the next match. So we have United Federation of Conifers versus Salt Farmers, both teams that bought into the tournament here, both teams which we have all decided that we know very little, if not even nothing about. So Reload, tell me about these teams.
Well, all I know is Salt Farmers is a low set group, so I assume they're going to bring high grade slaved Balgorns and Armageddons and, you know, an entire Guardian wing as well.
Of course, you do need the entire Guardian wing.
Oh, of course.
Just if one dies, keep bringing more.
Yeah.
A good tactic, perhaps a little bit banned in the tournament, but you know we can certainly try it someday. Bandit Backstabber showing that you don't always have to follow the rules.
Exactly.
You can bring whatever you want if no one notices. So if you maybe cloak them, hide them off grid,
Yeah,
you could get away with it. Now, we do have another flagship Balgorn Killmail that we can be looking at here. This is the Balgorn from Hotline K162, the Clown Car. They lost their Balgorn earlier on today, and we're looking at another 10 bill Balgorn here, going with the 2 officer webs, and we're seeing quite a standard fit now, the Gun Bal, although this one is coupled with a large smart bomb. So, Brett, smart bombs in the tournament like this, what are you going to use them for specifically?
Well, with the prevalence of quite a lot of drone comps, this smart bomb is the one thing that kind of keeps you alive. If they've got this huge amount of drones flying at you, you can kind of fly in front of whatever ship they're going for and smart bombing it. The worst comes worse, the target that the drones are targeting can come and hug you and kill it and definitely keep it alive. So the smart bomb's all there as a counter to these drone comps.
Cool. Now, we do actually have the upcoming bans for United Federation Conifers and Salt Farmers. Now, this one should be very interesting. United Federation Conifers choosing to ban Basilisk and Scimitar. Okay, so no shield logi right there. No cruiser Tech 2 shield logi. Salt Farmers banning Guardian and Oneros. So that's all 4 Tech 2 logistics cruisers banned.
Guess we're seeing Frigg Logi or T1 Logi?
Exactly, so we could be seeing Frigg Logi, as you say, maybe Dual Deacons. No one's touching Italia with a barge pole so far this tournament, perhaps for a good reason. We could also see, I mean, we don't really know much about these guys, they could be vastly wealthy. We could see Atanas and Rubises, of course. A great way to escape those bans to bring your very expensive AT prize ship instead. So, what do we talk about specifically? What you're going to bring, Reload? You're one of these teams. All lodges are banned. What do you do?
Drone all in.
Drone all in.
Yeah, I think it's a very. I mean, if they ban all 4 Tech 2, cruiser logistic ship, then a drone all in is honestly a safe bet. You don't know what the team is going to bring. They could bring the dual Deacon or the dual logistic frigate. So I think a drone all in is a very safe bet. There's also a second choice, which is a rapid light all in as well. So you just dual Orthrus, dual Serbs, and just do a rapid light spam.
I think we can talk about in the other match how to get around these bans. You can bring a Rubisu. You can spend 200 billion and bring a ship for the AT, like Phoebe Freeport Republic is currently doing now on the other stream by Nash Cadaver.
Yeah, indeed. So Phoebe Freeport Republic bringing both a Flag Balgorn and a Rubisu, potential for a very expensive match there, depending how that goes for them. Now, let's talk a little bit about the differences between your Tech 2 cruiser logi and your Tech 1 cruiser logi. So, I mean, how do you rate them, for example, Brett? I mean, if I'm going to say, instead of taking a Guardian because it's banned, I'm going to bring an Augurer instead. Is that maybe a decent drop in points to up-point something else, or would you prefer to take Tech 2 logistics frigates?
One thing about the difference between the 2 ships is that Tech 1 actually gets a bonus to rep range, whereas the Tech 2 does not. So an Augurer has an ever so slightly longer range than a Guardian, say. So you can stay a little bit further away, but that is counteracted by the fact that you have abysmal tank on a Augurer compared to a Guardian, while you only have, I think it's 2 or 3 mid slots. On an Augurer, you just don't have enough time to fit, say, a cap boost if you're running out of cap, a prop if you've got a prop, and ECCM. So there's a lot that can be countered by these smaller ships compared to the larger ones.
Yeah, and one of the other options you could have, instead of bringing your Tech 1 logistics cruiser, instead of bringing your Tech 2 logistic frigates, you can, of course, bring rep bots, remote repair drones. Now, the Tech 2 versions are banned in this particular tournament, but Brett, what do you think about rep bots? Are they something we expect to see this tournament, or maybe less so?
I think you can see them occasionally in some type of comps. In some of the battle cruiser comps where everyone's trying to stay as tight as a ball and stay alive, yes, you could see them, but in comps where it's front-loaded damage, like we're going to see with No Logi, I think it's definitely worth bringing attack drones instead of logistics drones.
Yeah, definitely, especially a lot of people only bring logistics drones in an unbonused hull, so your battle cruisers which have that drone space, they can bring a couple of remote rep bots just to augment their logistics cruiser, frigates, or whatever happens to be being primaried. So I'm going to go, we don't know much about them, but let's have a call. Salt Farmers or United Federation Conifers?
Salt Farmers.
Brett?
I'm going to agree, Salt Farmers.
I like their name, United Federation Conifers, so I'm going to go for them. So we're going to pass this one to the boys in the booth for another great round of this Alliance tournament.